During World War II, Americans witnessed the greatest mobilization of the U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force in the nation's history. More than 16 million people served in the military during this time. This leads to many veteran organizations who changed the name of Armistice Day to Veterans Day. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the legislation that declared this a national holiday and officially changed the name to Veterans Day in 1954. From then on, November 11th became the day to honor American veterans of all wars. Therefore, for over 100 years, we have honored veterans this special day.
On November 11, 1918, an armistice was signed to bring World War I to a close. An armistice is an agreement to end war. This was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This armistice was declared between the Allied nations and Germany to end World War I. 1 year later, in 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day. The observation included parades and public gatherings, as well as a brief pause in business and school activities at 11 a.m.
Our forefathers had many truths in life. Our veterans have protected those freedoms and our rights as Americans. Throughout history, our military personnel have risked their own lives and sacrificed their personal lives to protect others. Their service is an important part of our nation's history.
is a 1985 graduate of Calvary High School who served 30 years in the U.S. Navy. Mr. Clark worked as an electric warfare technician and cryptology technician. He served on 3 destroyers and 1 aircraft carrier and retired as the Command Master Chief, Naval Air Station, Oceana Master Jet Base. He is currently the Vice President of the Belfry Area Veterans. Please welcome Eric Clark.
Good afternoon, Belfry High School, Golden Eagles. It is so good to be back. I am not your guest speaker. I'm just his opening act. I'll let him cover everything Veterans Day. I'm here today because we had a crazy idea this week, or last week, and we ran this past your superintendent and your principal, and we came to the school on Monday, and we conducted an American flag retirement ceremony with a bunch of the students here. You'll get to see some of that ceremony shortly. Thanks to your broadcasting club. I'm looking forward to seeing what they did with our clip. A special thanks goes to Mr. White, who helped organize 2 classes of students to come out and attend, and also you'll see some of them participating. All right, now that I got all the things out of the way, what did we do and why did we do it? There's so much that I can say about the American flag, but I'm going to leave that till the end. When we walk right before the video, I'm going to read something that will much better explain what we think about the American flag. We inspect all of the American flags. We handle the flags with care and respect, even though some of them may be faded and torn. We pray over them. We honorably retire them. Then we collect all the ashes and we bury them. We did it here on school property to educate some students and allow them to participate in the retiring of 750 American flags. I could try to eloquently explain why we do this for the American flag, but instead I'm going to read something called Old Glory. It will give you a sense of why we, as veterans, are so passionate about the American flag. After Old Glory, we'll watch the video of the ceremony. But as I read, I'm just going to ask 2 things of you. I would like you to look at the American flag, and I want you to listen closely to the words that I'm going to read. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher. My colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved, and I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the churches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Taro, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and a score of places long forgotten by all except by those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn and tired. But my sailors and Marines, they cheered me, and I was proud. I was at Ground Zero in New York City on September 11th as cowardly fanatics attacked America. I was raised from the ashes of once proud buildings by brave firefighters. Heroes who risked their lives to save others, showing all that America, although bloody, will never be beaten. Those who destroy me cannot win, for I am a symbol of freedom, of one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the surely bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I fly at half-mast to honor my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at a gravesite of her fallen son or daughter. I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave, dear God. Long may I wave.
On Monday, November 6th, the Belford area performed a flag contest. As several classes at Belford High School watched and participated in this event. Flag retirements take place when the flag has been worn, torn, faded, or soiled. Many of the flags in the service were used to cover the graves of local veterans. The veterans, students, and staff took turns retiring the flags and paying their respect for all that the flag represents. This moving ceremony served as a memorable and important learning experience for all involved.
Oh God, we thank you for the flag of our country and for all our flag represents. We thank you for giving victory to brave and valiant men and women who have given their
veteran's life is not always the easiest, and there's a large population of veterans who are homeless, disabled, unemployed, or facing another life hardship. As Americans, we need to pay attention to this. Why is it that we expect our military to protect us and then struggle to take care of them whenever they finish their service?
Female veterans are important in the United States. Today, there are more than 2 million female veterans. Women are the fastest growing demographic in the veteran population. Women veterans have served through all branches and divisions of the military, and their service has not gone unnoticed.
Belford graduates have a long history in military service. Some recent graduates who have embarked on service include Austin Allen, Gaten Lawson, Andrew Miranda, Nick Godfrey, Elijah Barnett, Austin Murphy, Kate Austin, George Carter, and Malcolm Strobel. And yet there are others who thank them for their service. At this time, if there are any students present who are considering joining the military, we ask you to please stand. Thank you.
Sergeant Major David Davis is born in Parksburg, West Virginia. Graduated from Parksburg South High School and enlisted in the U.S. Army in 2001. He honorably retired from the U.S. Army in June 2021 after a 20-year career. Sergeant Major Davis was a paratrooper and is a combat veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan. He was a member of the All Army Sports Programs during his career and coached the All Army Softball Program in 2019. Sergeant Major Davis held multiple leadership positions during his career, which included assignments as a squad leader, platoon sergeant, and a special agent assigned to the United States Army Special Operations Command. His final military assignment was the Provost Sergeant Major in Arizona. Sergeant Major Davis holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from Ohio Valley University and a master's degree in sports management from American Military University. He is the co-founder of Mindset Matters Athletics and the assistant softball coach for Wittenberg University. Sergeant Major is married to Mandy Davis. They have 4 children together and reside in Springfield, Ohio. Please welcome Sergeant Major Dan Davis.
It's good to be home. It's good to be back home. Thank you to the student body and student council for putting this together. I know Veterans Day is not important unless we do things like this to recognize. So the band, the choir, and the student council, thank you for this opportunity. Well, as I said, this is home for me. My sister-in-law graduated from Belford High School, and Crystal Goy, my wife, Lingear, ended up graduating from Warren and out across the river in Parkersburg. And this community in of itself has a lot and a very strong veteran background. So when I got the opportunity to come back and say a few words today, I was really excited for the opportunity. You know, all veterans have 3 things in common. Number 1, we've all sang a little bit of cadence early in the morning before the sun comes up. And, you know, cadence is important. It's something that builds our morale and gets us going with those top mornings. Another thing is the oath of enlistment, where we all took an oath, we're going to blank check for our freedoms. An oath that said, I do solemnly swear to support and defend the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I'll obey the orders of the President of the United States and the officers appointed above me according to regulation and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. We all have that in common. So after we do that, then we ship off to either basic training or boot camp. And that's where the fun really begins. So this day, I got to share some stories. And we usually don't talk about it a whole lot, but when we get together, we have an opportunity to share some stories together. So as we ship off to basic training or boot camp, it's an opportunity for the service to instill the values in us that we will then carry forward, that our veteran community honestly carries forward with them into life. Like the Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, Marine Corps, honor, commitment, courage. For our Air Force brothers and sisters, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in everything we do. So those are important things that we all share in common. We all have our values that are ingrained with us deeply as we get our start in our military career. And I'm telling you, I'm so thankful for that start in my life and into adulthood. It really opened up a lot of doors for me. And hey, I'm right here talking to you right now, something I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do, come home and do. So we heard some history today about where Veterans Day, where it originated, and we talked about the flag and the importance of the flag. It means something different to everybody. I know to each one of us it holds a special place. We've lost a lot of brothers and sisters that wanted to support and defend our way of freedom. Today I want to take an opportunity to talk to you about goal development. Developing goals and achieving goals in life and having a plan to do that is obviously important. And I'll tie that in to me going to basic airborne course. So that was a goal of mine coming through the military. And how did I get there? I started off, like I said, in a conventional Army unit, and eventually ended up going into Special Operations Command. And one of the requirements was to be airborne qualified. And my brothers and sisters in the Air Force was telling me earlier, it's never a good idea to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. And boy, that was the truth, and I had that same mentality. But I really wanted to be a part of the Special Operations community, and that was a requirement that you had to be airborne qualified. So that was the goal. So in airborne school, there's a history of airborne, and black paratroopers are important, and it's really a show of force. The first combat jump was occurred in World War II in 1943, called Operation Airborne Husky. That occurred in Germany, and that airborne jump, although we lost a lot of paratroopers that day, around 300, because there was airlines, they crashed, there was a lot of loss of life, but they didn't realize it was effective for deterring our opposition in World War II. So it's continued on. It continues to be a strong part of our military today. And I talked to some of our veterans. Some of them are here with us. Our paratroopers, former paratroopers. Once a paratrooper, always a Marine weapon as well. But as we go through World War II, the last one, my classified jump, anyways, in combat was in Iraq, Operation Northern Delay, which occurred in Iraq in 2003. And there's some really good words about that, I think, related to goal development here in a second. So Colonel Spencer, he reflected back 20 years later. So it's been 20 years since that jump into Iraq. And he had these words to say. That night when we jumped into Iraq, we landed in deep mud. Not only that, but we all had a 120-pound gear on our backs. We do this training over and over again, so when we are tested, we will succeed. That just brings to me as a coach now, that's one of the important things in life is that champions don't rise to the level, they fall back on their training. That's why we train so hard to fight. That's why in athletics, try to practice like you're going to compete. So that matters. So I was going to ship off to airborne school and in Fort Benning, Georgia. This is in 2015. So I was retired in 2021. So I was 36 years old at that time, and I made special operations, knew that this was a requirement. And so I went off to Fort Benning, Georgia. And leading up to that, I realized at that time in my life that a positive mindset and self-discipline will allow you to achieve your goals in life. Because you're going to run into a lot of obstacles, and you got to find a way to turn them into opportunities. So as I headed off, I had about 2 months when I got the orders, I head off down to Fort Benning, Georgia. So I had to change the way I trained, I had to make sure I was eating right and doing those things. Very important to achieve that goal. And most paratroopers, when they go first school is ground week. Then the second week of training is tower week. And then the third week is jump week. So I had to have a positive mindset just going into it thinking ground week. They're going to tell me to jump off a box about this high over and over and over again and do what's called a PLF, or a parachute landing fall. Because that's the base of it. If you don't get this right, you're probably going to break an ankle or a leg on the way down. Sometimes you can do that right and that still happens. So over and over again for a week, you're jumping and you're doing a lot of running. Things that you have to have a positive mindset, or you're just not going to find a way to do it. So you get through week 1, banged up and bruised, and you continue into tower week. Now this is a crazy, almost like a bad carnival ride, but a vision here for tower week. So they've got you on the ground, and they pull you up in this tower about 250 feet above the earth's surface, and drop you with the parachute. Obviously, they pull up the parachute, it drops, and it helps you land. It helps you figure out how to land. I thought that was more scary than actually jumping out of an airplane. I was like, that looks crazy. Here you had this thing that had a big, almost like a crane that pulls you up and drops you. So that goes on. You do that several times. You rappel out of the tower, and then you're going into the final week, jump week. And your body's pretty banged up at this time. You have to jump 5 times, land, collect your parachute, exit the landing zone to the collection point. 5 times, 5 jumps. So I went back and recovered for the weekend. Monday started, it was jump day, the first jump day. So Sergeant Airborne, which there's plenty of them there. That's not one individual person. You just call them all Sergeant Airborne. Rank doesn't matter. And so you talk to Sergeant Airborne. He's coming through. He's checking you up before you get ready to board the aircraft. And he says, "Yeah, you're all good, Airborne. Have a seat." And that means that your parachute and all your rig was all set up. He was good with it. You have a seat. You can't go to the restroom. Don't do anything else. And you can't touch anything until you get ready to hook up your static line in the plane. So I'm sitting there. I'm waiting. And we end up heading out to the plane, heading out to the aircraft. We going out to the aircraft, he looked at me and he said, "Hey, do you mind jumping out of the plane first today?" And I thought, oh man, hey, it's a goal. I have to jump sometime. Let's get this over with. So before I could even think about it, I said, absolutely. That's kind of how we're trained to do it. Just, yep, what do you got? Somebody else can do it, I can do it. So go up the aircraft. And it gets the altitude. We're supposed to be 1,250 feet above the Earth's surface, traveling about 100 to 120 miles per hour to C-130. That's the name of the aircraft, the airplane. So we get ready close to the landing zone. 2 minutes. 2 minutes comes over the intercom. That means in 2 minutes I'm exiting this thing, whether I want to or not. And then for 1 minute. 1 minute. When 1 minute goes off, everybody stands up, hooks up, and shuffles to the door. So I didn't have part to shuffle, and the door was open. It was right here. And as I turn around and I'm looking down, I said, oh boy, those big old pine trees looked about this big down there on the ground. And about the time I start to dig in, see the landing zone, we're approaching it. 3, 2, 1, green light, go! And he slapped me on the hip. And out I went. I jumped high and far into the sky. That was the wrong thing to do, but I didn't know it at that time. So as I jumped high, the wind caught me and threw me off the airplane. So my right side hit the airplane, my PMR hit the airplane, and I'm spinning in the air. This is not where you want to be, because in a static line jump, that means you were hooked up and the parachute goes full canopy as soon as you exit the aircraft. This is not like that high altitude, high opening, and very calm type of landing. It's pretty rough landing if you do it right. So I'm spinning in the air, and dazed and confused, and panic began to set in. But then, like I said before, training kicked in, and it said, do what the manual said, do what that block of instruction said. So listening intently, thank goodness for that instruction. Reach behind your head, grab the suspension line lines that are tangled, bicycle kick in the air, and pull. And wouldn't you know it? 1, 2, 3. Whew. Now imagine I'm descending now, the parachute's not open, figuring out if I'm going to pull the reserve. So I didn't pull the reserve. So it finally goes full canopy. It was rather late in the game. That usually happens, like I said, about 1,000 feet. I was probably around 600, 500 feet this time. And getting ready to burn in, I hear Sergeant Airborne yell out, "Pull a slip, Airborne, pull a slip." So with these parachutes, they have little things you can pull on to help you get the wind correctly as you're coming in. And it was too late for that. I was getting ready to burn in, so I braced for impact. And I hit, and I bounced, and I rolled, and he came running over to me and said, "Are you all right, Airborne?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm alive." And probably at that moment in time, I was more alive than I'd ever been in my life when you're that close to death. So that was the good news. The bad news was I had to do it 4 more times to graduate. So I got through school. That was the goal, and that's what the military gives. It gives you opportunities to reach goals and different goals like that as you're going through. And I remember standing along with my peers in formation, and my father was there to pin my airborne wings upon my chest. So that was a very great moment for me, and the military does a great job of recognizing whenever you accomplish things like that. So that was my story on airborne and reaching that goal in life. And I'll tell you, as we return from combat with physical injuries and emotional scars that will last a lifetime, it was worth it because you are worth it. Each and every one of you. Our way of life is worth fighting for. We have freedoms today that I know some of us have seen that don't have in other countries. We get to worship at the church of our choice. We get to go where we want to go, live where we want to live. We get to marry who we want to marry, have a family. There's a caveat. They have to want to marry you here in the United States. So we get to marry who we want to marry. We get to do what we want to do, all because of freedoms provided by our veteran community. So in closing, I'll say this. A positive mindset in life. Just talked to one of the other veterans earlier. He told me, above ground today. It's a good day. And that is true. And I hope that whatever you decide to do in life, you do it with a positive mindset. You have enough self-discipline to carry on and achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. We are the land of the free, the home of the brave. In closing, I'll thank a few people here real quick. One being Michaela Carmichael. She reached out to me and asked me to come here and speak today on behalf of the student body. And again, it's a great honor to be able to be in front of you today. And with that, a lot of times people ask my why, and I'll tell you, my why to come out here and give back to our next generation of leaders. It's pretty simple. I dedicate every speech that I give to my son, Austin Daniel Davis, who was killed in a tragic car accident in 2020, April 28, 2020. He was a junior in high school. So when people say, "Dan, how do you walk around with a smile on your face and do what you do?" It's because I have a purpose. And I want to thank him, Austin, for giving me that purpose. And thank you all. God bless you. God bless America.
thank our broadcasting class for putting that video together for us. They did a really nice job. The bouquet in front of me is a bouquet of poppies, and those were donated today by Sandy's Forest here locally. After World War I, the poppy flourished in Europe. Scientists have contributed the growth of soils in France and Belgium, becoming enriched with lime from rubble left by the war. From the dirt and mud grew a beautiful red poppy. Red poppy came to symbolize blood shed during battle, following the publication of the wartime poem in Flanders Fields. The poem was written by Lieutenant Colonel John McRae, MD, while serving on the front lines. The poem describes the tragedy of the soldiers' deaths, as well as the ongoing natural beauty that surrounds their graves. It also addresses the question of the next generation's responsibility to carry on the soldiers' battle. In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place and in the sky. The larks still bravely sing and fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take of our quarrel with the foe. To you, prevailing hands we throw. The torch, be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us, you die. We shall not sleep, the poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Today we're presenting each of our veterans with a pin that is a replica of the poppy, a small token of our appreciation for their service.
The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay for it. Today we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. At this time, we ask that you please stand as we observe the luminous silence and reflect on the night that passed. As we conclude today's assembly honoring our veterans, we want to extend our gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you once again for your service to our country and protecting our yesterday, today, and forever. To our current students, maybe you are thinking about serving in the military. We hope that many of you will, because our future rests on you. Today, we hope we have given you a glimpse of what you need us and our goal is to never forget the honor, the courage, and the sacrifice you have made for us. Thank you to everyone for being here today. To conclude our ceremony today, the Belgian High School Band will perform a patriotic salute. At the conclusion of this speech, BHS students dismissed to